Oh, sorry. I was having a sip of my coffee. Kia ora, good morning. Wide awake. So let me tell you what's going on. So I was dead to the world. I basically had my dinner around about 5ish, something thereabouts. Passed out. Um, it's exhausting fighting demons, and I fought demons yesterday quite hard to protect my friend. So, yeah, it takes a lot out of me, but I've just been trying to mind my own business and, focus on my future. But until this holy war's over, I always get called to action. Being in God's imperial army, sometimes when you're in the prayer position, resting on your sword, sometimes you get called to action, you get called to battle, and that's what happened yesterday. But then this video dropped in my lap. So yeah, anyway, so I was passed out, having just like the best sleep. That warm, cozy, lovely sleep where you could go to sleep just in peace and your conscience is clear and you're just warm and toasty. And yeah, I was having that kind of sleep. And I got woken up um, around about 11ish, I think it was. I can't remember because I'm still coming out of my blood soaked fight that I just took part in. And I always know that when I get woken up from a dead sleep, Father needs me to catch codes that he's about to drop. And so I was just sticking about, just scrolling, waiting for the codes to come through. And so I'm just having a sip of my coffee. I've just made a coffee. And a video dropped into my YouTube in regards to an interview with Donald Trump from back in the 80s, where he's talking about his plan for Iran. And that's when I knew the code had dropped, because I had been saying for months that Donald Trump and Tony Blair had been planning since the 80s to go to war with Iran and cause 9/11. I've got proof that Donald Trump knew 9/11 was going to take place. He even made money from the insurance for collecting insurance for buildings that weren't anywhere near 9/11, but he collected insurance money for it. And he's caught on recording talking about how it was Arabs that did it, even though no reports had come out about there being Arabs that had done it at the time, and all of this. So it's all on my X. The investigation is all there. But I had been saying to the King, Tony Blair and Donald Trump rose into politics at the same time. That's not a coincidence. That's on purpose. And they planned 9/11 to blame the Arabs so they could go to war, cause a holy war between Arabs and Christians and Jews. And I said it started in the 80s. I think I said between 82 and 85. I know for Donald Trump, my investigation with him started in 1985. Tony Blair, it started around 82, but they started rising in power and politics together around the same time. And then, of course, 9/11 happened, and the Iraq War, and Afghanistan, and now Iran. So this interview with Donald Trump on YouTube, it's proven everything I said. Um, so then it dumped a whole pile of 9/11 codes, the Disney Sabrina from the Simpsons episode where they're talking about how they stole money from the Queen. 9/11's in the poster in the background with Sarah Ferguson's birthday. It's basically confirmed everything that I've been saying. And this video proves that it was like the code that pulled on an entirely, well, not, I was going to say an entirely new thread, but it's technically an old one. It's also the quantum menace conception of Heracles. Remember, because they go back in time to undo Heracles' existence, the brain in the jar. Which brings me to the next thing. I've been thinking about Night of the Black Sun because obviously, as soon as I get to Switzerland and get everything going, I want to be able to get Night of the Black Sun underway, which means finishing the story, finding the actors, finding the musicians, and putting the songs together. And so it's just been sitting in the back of my mind, because I'm going to have to invite I'm going to have to invite writers and musicians to my home until unless I rent a office or something, I'm going to have to bring them into my home. We're going to have to work together to write everything and record everything, and so I'm going to have a close knit family. Um, I'm not worried about having them in my home because they'll be my family. It's just I'm I like people to come and then leave, but these people are going to have to be people I get on really well with because we're going to be spending a few months together, um, ironing out this live radio musical that we're going to be performing live in my amphitheatre at my school. And hang on, sip. And I've been thinking about, the night of the black, well, not the night of the Black Sun, to raise awareness for child trafficking and all of that. The whole Epstein pedo war, like all of it's to raise awareness for that, raise money for the safe houses. And I keep thinking of the theme tune, and the first scene, and I talk about it on my YouTube. I've got like various videos to do. It's called, I named it Vanta Black back then. There's a reason why, but I'm not going into it here. But I'll put links in the description box so you can see what I'm talking about. But I talk about the opening scene about one of the camp counsellors, how she's getting ready and she turns on the TV. She's got like a little TV in her room. She turns it on, throws the remote down. Or no, did they have? Yeah, they did have remotes in the 80s. Um, and she goes to get in the shower, and the news report is on about, the zombies and blah blah. And you hear the news report in the background. And this is where I think I had written music to come in, like after she gets to the food hall, where she's been told about, haven't you heard what's going on, blah blah blah. Um, but the theme tune, like the theme tune, because I mean it's eventually gonna get turned into a movie, and my son and I, when we wrote it, we decided that we wanted it to be set in the 80s. And this is what I'm thinking is that when it's turned into a movie, um, it needs a theme song, needs a theme tune. And I keep thinking of the Goonies. Good enough for you is good enough. For me is good enough. Good enough for me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Cyndi Lauper. So, yeah, so there's going to be this scene where she gets in the shower and the news is playing, talking about this outbreak, this zombie apocalypse. And while the theme tune starts, and I'm thinking it's going to be synthesizers and, very Cyndi Lauper Goonies like. And I'm thinking synthesizers and like xylophones and all of that. Just, yeah. And with the news report. playing in the background as it turns into the theme tune and the credits come up and all of that. And so now I've got to kind of start a tune that is very 80s inspired, that's kind of got the same sort of instruments and feel as the Goonies theme tune. Hang on. So, yeah, so long story short, I've been fighting demons all day. And I've been proven right about Donald Trump and Tony Blair and Keir Starmer and how they've been planning to go to war with Iran for quite a few decades now, which means it's basically brought it back to my work with my Iraqi and Afghanistan veterans when I was helping them with their PTSD and when they were having their breakdowns and their paranormal stuff and their suicidal thoughts and all of that, and I kind of feel like I'm helping them get justice by exposing it all and pulling the truth out from the rubble, so to speak. I'm helping them get justice. So yeah, it's like God stepped up, and it doesn't matter what they try and say or do. Every every time God keeps like hammering them, hammering Starmer and Donald Trump with, "You're not going to win this. I'm going to keep exposing you. You're all evil." That whole Fabian Society plan, which means that um, Christians and veterans have been persecuted, Muslims have been targeted, innocent Jews have been blamed. They've all been getting slaughtered in the name of pedophilic cover-ups. And I'm sitting here just dropping codes exposing them all. So, where all I really want to do is just mind my own business and write my stories and continue with my movies, and also my slapstick black and white movie. I'm going to call it When the Band Plays. It's when the band plays is going to be like a code in the movie. So yeah, so now I'm awake and I'm having a coffee because I don't think I'll be going back to sleep sort of anytime soon. And I just keep thinking of this Night of the Black Sun theme tune now, because this is one of the things that my video game, my dating app, the Amber Rose movie, and Night of the Black Sun, they're the three immediate things that need to be plans put into action pretty much as soon as I arrive and I get all the people in place to do what I have to do. So they're the three most important projects that need to be sorted out. And once we put on the performance in the park, we'll turn it into a horror movie, a zombie apocalypse horror movie. And it's no holds barred either. We don't discriminate with age in that when it comes to targeting, with the zombies targeting victims, because it would happen in real life. And it's James Herbert inspired, because when I read his book Rats, I think it was his first book, when I know it was my first book of his that I read, Rats, when I was 13, I could not believe that he'd written in that these rats had eaten babies. And I thought that was so cool. So I'm very much like, Peter Jackson and Braindead, in that zombies in real life would eat babies. So it's a no holds barred thing. The other thing is, and I realised this yesterday after I finished my live, you know how I was talking about in When the Band Plays, secret walls and hidden hidden doors and walls in that house. It actually ties in really perfectly with the second idea that my son and I came up with for the haunted house. So while it would be filmed in the house, Some of it will be filmed in the house and the rest in the studio. Um, when we're ready to do the this particular theme that we came up with for the haunted house, it actually ties in very nicely to when the band plays. We came up with this storyline that really messes with your head. It's not the sort of thing where you would want kids under about the age of 10 going in, that's for sure. They'd have to have balls of steel. Yeah, with my Halloween, there's no holds barred. We'll have the kiddie stuff over in the cute little kiddie corner, but if you want to be a part of the main event and that, your kids are going to have to be tough. They can't be weeny little Gen Z alpha kids because they'd end up suing us for trauma. So yeah, you'll be signing legal waivers with the stuff that we've come up with. I came up with one idea that might not be very ethical or moral, but it'd be a Halloween event that people wouldn't forget, that's for sure. So I can't remember. I keep hearing the start to the Goonies theme tune. I'll put the Goonies theme tune in the description box, and I'll put the first couple of recordings of. It's called Vanta Black back then, but it's Night of the Black Sun now. KNIGHT. It's Bill Gates, because COVID. Anyway, um, but I keep hearing, are they? You know the xylophones, the wooden ones. Are they still called xylophones? If they're the ones that are made of wood, because that's what I keep hearing. I used to have to play them at school, for music at school, and that's what I keep hearing with like a synthesizer. So yeah. Anyway, so it's been a busy, almost full day, demon slaying and defending truth and goodness and innocence, and I'm bloody exhausted. I'm going to have my coffee. I don't know when I'll be allowed to go back to sleep, but I always know that when I get woken up, it's God saying, get ready, I'm dropping codes. He's dropping codes from heaven and he needs me to catch them. As in, codes that codes from existence catching up to physical reality. So I've sent it to the King, I've sent it to the ICC, because that means that Great Britain, Middle Eastern countries like Qatar and the UAE and all that, America, EU countries, anyone involved in Iraq, Afghanistan, this thing with Iran, COVID, Gaza, um, international terrorism and domestic terrorism, because, all the false flag events on home soil, all the veterans that were killed, all the people that were killed fighting it, all the veterans that have been affected and traumatised having fought it, all the bloodshed, um, all to take over the Commonwealth, take over the world basically. Pedophiles taking over the world, and they thought they were going to get away with it because they don't believe in God. Demons, they don't believe in the power of God. They fight the power of God, which is why in the presence of God or Jesus, demons and devils are obligated by universal law to speak the truth. A devil and a demon can't lie. It's physically impossible for them to lie in the presence of the light, God's light or Jesus. And I'm a soul collector. I'm a bounty hunter. So I hunt demons. I don't conjure them. I fight them. I take them down. Only devil worshippers conjure demons, because like attracts like. So I go where devils and demons fear to tread, and yeah, I go in and I draw them out. They can't help but be drawn to my light, and then they try to mimic it and emulate it in order to trick the people around them. But as soon as they rear up, that's when I take my sword and chop their heads off. You know, collect the bounty. Because I'm like an anglerfish, and my little light attracts the prey. And so all these people think, I'm big and tough and scary, and I'm going to use words and pretend like I know what I'm doing with the occult, and it's just like, while I'm picking out the last bit of flesh and blood from under my nails from fighting the last one, I just pick up my sword and whoop off with the head. Just effortless. If if I'm not afraid of the Illuminati, I'm not afraid of the little mimics that try and threaten me on X because they can't stand the fact that I'm getting respect from people. People respect my authority now. People are a little bit afraid of me, but that's a good thing because it keeps them in check. It means that they know they can't misbehave in front of me because I will call them out. Because I don't care who you are. You can be a president, a prime minister, a member of my own family, someone I was married to. If you step out of line and do anything unethical or immoral, or that abuses the occult, I'll chop your head off. Metaphorically speaking, of course. I take your soul, which means you end up going into the dark space. My Mayan temple dream. Remember when I called out the mimic, I looked in the mirror and it was a version of me, but it started aging rapidly, and when it knew it had been caught out, it lost its mind and started ripping its own flesh off, and people were stabbing it and jabbing it with pitchforks or with pointy sticks or something. And I called it Dorian Gray because keeps the portrait looking young, but in real life it's like really old and hack it. And if the painting gets destroyed, it's Dorian's, true age and all of that is revealed. So I'm assuming that Monique in real life is about 100, but pretending to look young or something. But yeah, I'm not afraid of the Illuminati. So witches and devil worshippers are. I don't conjure demons, sweetheart. I hunt them. So anyway, it's been an interesting day, and I was having the best sleep of my life. And then Father woke me up and said, I need you to do something for me, get ready to catch the codes. And these codes are a doozy because it's confirmed everything that I've been saying about Donald Trump and Tony Blair and their plan for Iran, and also that they could turn Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East or Riviera of Persia. It's all been exposed, which just ties in nicely to the Quantum Menace Part 3, where they have to go back in time to unravel Heracles. So, yeah, chopped off a few heads with fakes and pretenders and people lying through their teeth to try and catch me out and trap me and put me on the wrong path, but I was onto it well over a year ago. It's just you have to play a certain game when you're catching demons, because they're idiots. They're as thick as pig shit. Like they're not very clever. They're not good at lying, and when you catch their lie, it's the kind of lie that is their unraveling. Like Donald Trump, and Starmer and that. I caught their lies and I keep them in a little bag. And then when the codes drop, I'm able to just like spill the bag out and all the truth comes out. And then it's undeniable because I make sure that the lies that I catch are ones that would stand up in court because my reputation's on the line. And as a scientist, my reputation is everything. Because obviously I want to get quantum magnetics recognised as a field of physics. like an actual, like physics theory that's recognised. So in order to do that, I need to be able to have the proof to back up my claims, and therefore to do that, um, I I want my proof to be able to stand up in court, where the truth is undeniable, where it can't be denied, it can't be argued. Well, how do you explain that? It's not enough to just say I'm crazy, because that's what they thought. If we label her as being crazy, and then get her locked up and say, she was locked up, but it's like, yeah, but I wasn't diagnosed with anything, and I've been gathering evidence against everybody since I was locked up, and the evidence that I've gathered is going to stand up in court. It's irrefutable, because I'm a scientist. So, they underestimated the power of my physics because they don't believe in God and they don't understand physics. Because they're just drug dealers and people who, like, are into fetishes and having copious amounts of sex with different people and having hundreds of babies with 90 different women and all that sort of thing. So their mind isn't in the game, but mine is. Because I'm all about the power of the mind. My science involves biometrics, getting inside your head. And when I get inside your head, I have complete control over the outcome of everything that you say or do. And then I catch it all, put it in my bag, and wait for the day when I either present it in public or present it in court. But either way, the evidence can't be denied. But demons, who are the minions to the devils, so, the people I've been dealing with have been working for Elon Musk and Donald Trump, to try and catch me out, take me down, get evidence, blackmail, blah, 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 all the usual stuff. But they're not very smart. They they wouldn't have two brain cells to rub together if 100 of them got together in their coven. Well, I say coven. A coven is up to 13 people. Anything more than 13 people is a cult. They're a cult. So, and they're not smart, which is why I've been able to catch them all out. Because I'm a Scorpio, so I'm an arachnid by birth, so vibration, as soon as I feel it, I'm onto it. Like when prey gets on the spider web and it shakes and it sends the vibration up the hairs on the legs of the spider, and that's how it senses it. That's me. And so I sit and I observe and I wait and then I catch it. And that's what I do. And then I turn my web into my sack. And I put all the evidence in, like Santa's sack. Or the not, what's it called? Crumple Funk? So, no, Crumple Funk, isn't that what Retard's book was? Was that German Santa, the one that puts the kids in the sack? Crumple, whatever his name is, you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. So demons aren't very smart. And because demons are the minions, and they're the ones that the devil send out, like if Keir Starmer gave MI5 the orders to kill me, the ones who set the poison apple up, they're the demons. But they're not very smart, they're mindless. They function on being told what to do. It's all controlled. They can't think for themselves and they have no conscience because it's all removed, and then their mind is controlled by what they're fed. This is what you say, this is what you do, this is how you need to set it up. So, yeah, they're mindless zombies. But I live in the mind because that's the creation frequency is all about the conscious self. And in order to be able to have access to the conscious self, you need to be able to sit comfortably balanced in the logic, doubt, reason, common sense compromise of the subconscious mind. Because any normal person wouldn't act like they do. So it turns out I'm not the one with the psychological issues, they are. Because they're idiots. And I keep saying that. So, but it's great for me because I get to turn it into horror stories and video games and books and all that. And then when I get justice and I get out of here and I get to go to Switzerland, I can gather all these people together and I can turn my magic into real life manifestations. And then the public will pay to be entertained by it all. I'm just waiting for the right people and the right time. Just sitting patiently in my bubble, doing my job, waiting for the Lord to say, okay, now you're done, here's your money, you can go. So, people learn very quickly when they think they're getting away with fooling me. Once I catch them out, I was the last person in the world you should mess with. Because not only do I catch you out, I expose you and then I met out your karma. And I'll tell you what your fate is. You're going to lose money, you're going to lose your mind, you're going to lose your reputation, you're going to get diseases. Because Satan will say, before I drag you down to hell, I want them to go crazy. I want them to be in poverty. I want their reputation to be destroyed. The Elon Musk, Donald Trump stuff, basically, but it has a knock-on effect. So any karma that Donald Trump accrues because of whatever he's done to me, for example. Anyone that helped him try and come after me will suffer the same fate. Because like attracts like, and karma has a knock-on effect. In my culture, we call it utu, the curse of karmic consequences. And it ends up becoming so impactful that your karma has an effect on your ancestors as well. Your ancestors end up paying for the things that you did wrong. For example, time exists simultaneously. Past, present, and future happen all at once because of the way that the universe expands, right? It's basically an atom that just is getting fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter. But if an atom is self-containing, but it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's what time is. So, with an Utu, with a mighty curse of karmic consequences, is basically you don't do the person any harm other than you say to the universe, teach them a lesson about teach them a lesson that affects their conscience. It's like a moral curse. But it affects your ancestors as well. So think of it this way. See the two demons that I had to strike yesterday? I call them Morticia and Gomez Adams. Anything that has happened to their ancestors in the past, say like accidents, death, murders, bankruptcy, whatever in the past before they were born, will be as a result of what Morticia and Gomez did to me, and it's Utu. So there's this thing going on X about people saying, why do bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people? It's Utu, the curse of karmic consequences. You can be good. Bad things happening to good people could be you're paying off karmic debt for things your ancestors got wrong, but good things happening to bad people, it's setting them up to pay off karmic, it's setting their ancestors off to pay off karmic debt in the future. But if you do anything wrong in this life, your ancestors can pay for it in the past. So bad things happening to good people could be because of things that your children or grandchildren or great grandchildren who aren't even born yet, things that they've gotten wrong that you're paying for in this life. Or if you're like an earth angel, for example, um, you're what's called a martyr for the cause. You were sent here to teach people a lesson about the value of life and morality and ethics and having a clear conscience and all of that. So sometimes bad things happen to good people because they chose to come here to be a martyr for the cause. But otherwise, good things happening to bad things happening to good people can be because future generations, descendants that haven't even been born yet, have done something in the future that you're paying for. So it's all a lesson in making sure that you raise your family the right way, that you're around the right people, make good choices, because the things that you do now will have a karmic knock-on effect for future generations. And these are all things that, all lessons that need to be verbally passed down and taught to your children and your children's children. And just like my mother passed down certain things to me, I'm trying to pass down to my children, but they're around a demon. But you know, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, I'll pass on all that knowledge. That's what a seer is. A seer isn't someone who sees the future, who sees things coming. They're someone who sees things coming based on past experience. Not because they're psychic, it's because they're wise. A seer's mind, a wise mind. You know how people saying, I knew that was going to happen, I saw that coming a mile away. Didn't have to be psychic to know that. That's a seer. I'm telling you, they're idiots. I have so much fun though. It's so funny. Because, like, yeah, it's hilarious to me. But, yeah, so I'll put the Van Black thing in, I'll put the Goonies soundtrack in, and I'll put this thing about why do bad things happen to good people? Because it's been doing the rounds on X, so now I've explained it. This is why you got to live this life to your fullest with a clear conscience so that you die with no regrets. And then you're not passing on any karmic debt so that bad things don't happen to good people in your family. It's the laws of karmic balance. While bad things are happening to good people in your lifetime, good things are happening to bad people because the universe has to balance itself out. But if bad things aren't happening to good people anymore in your circle, in your life, in this lifetime, then good things don't happen to bad people. Do you see what I mean? So now you know. So I'm going to go now and finish my coffee, and I might listen to some classical music because it's just, oh my God, it's like a drug for me. I My body is pristine and pure. You won't find anything but vitamins in my bloodstream. But classical music has become like it's like a DMT release. The stuff that has happened to me since I started listening to classical music has absolutely changed my life. It's like I've been reborn. It's rebirthed me. I died when I lost my Amber. It, Between losing my sons and losing Amber, it killed me. It literally killed me. Losing Amber killed me. And classical music has brought me back to life. And I've resurrected in a way that's just like, I feel so incredibly powerful that it's unbelievably sexy. I know it's not a very holy thing to say, but see, when I demon hunt, oh, there's nothing hotter. If I was in a relationship with a man and I was doing this sort of stuff and he was here, we'd be making some babies. I find it so hot because it's like I'm cleaning the planet of all the scum and filth. I'm making the planet a little bit cleaner and purer every time I take a devil and demon down, and that's hot. With my broken tooth and my scar on my back from where I was stabbed, and my scars all over my stomach, and yeah, but I still find it hot. I'm a Scorpio, of course I do. Anyway, I'm going to go now, so I will speak to you later. But now you've got the answers, and listen to that Goonies tune, because when and then obviously because I've set the scene, so listen to the intro to Night of the Black Sun, then listen to the Goonies tune, and try and put the two together, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. The music will be coming in as the news is playing in the background while she's having a shower. So set the scene, and then I need to find the name. Is the xylophone the wooden one? Is it called a xylophone? Are the wooden ones called xylophones? Because that's what I keep hearing with a synthesizer, and like, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō.